Dylan here, and Stampy Longhead has made over 100 mini-games throughout the years of his Let's Play world. But some of them no longer work. He made a top 10 video around 7 years ago naming them. And in this series, I am going to be fixing them, starting with Wiggly Worm. The problem with Wiggly Worm, as Stampy said, was that when he pressed the buttons, multiple pistons were pushing, so the concrete powder was not dropping, because the one below it was being pushed. So, yeah. I decided to build the original myself and see what the issue is so I could fix it, and it worked perfectly. Thanks for making my job easy, Minecraft. So, how this game works is 2 players go and place 1 concrete powder in each column, and then they take turns pressing buttons to guess where the concrete powder is. And I added a little bit extra to the game, which I will show you in a bit. That's what happens when you get it right. The lamp lights up. A player can only go once, and then it goes to the other player, but I'm trying to keep this a bit short. And since they win, their firework goes off. The fireworks weren't inside of the original game, but I added it. So both sides are basically just mirrored copies of each other. And the redstone might seem like it would be a bit complicated, but it is actually quite simple. So, let's start off with the worm itself. It has 3 layers. On the outside of it, there are buttons placed, then a layer of wool, then there are sticky pistons. They must be sticky pistons, otherwise a wool could be pushed out and then just stay out, which could block the concrete powder from falling. In the original, it's sand and gravel, but since then, concrete powder was added, and it just looks better and also makes it harder to cheat, because if someone peeks over, it might blend in with the wool. So, when the button is pressed, the piston activates, and if it's wool, then it gets pulled back, but if it's concrete powder, it just falls down, and then it goes over to this redstone. Over here, there are redstone torches which power repeaters. When the block comes through, it is powered through it. Then it goes through the other repeater. You're supposed to. Anyway, then they go through this block, and then they transfer the signal to both the note block, which is something that I added to just make a sound whenever somebody succeeds, so they don't have to always look down at the repeater. Also, you may be wondering about the slabs. That's just because, for some reason, in Bedrock Edition, if there's anything directly above a note block, even if it's just like string or water or a half slab that isn't touching it, it won't work. So I just did this to cover them up. It will go through the block and power both the note block and the redstone lamp, which turns the redstone lamp on and makes the note block make a sound. Let's also look over at the fireworks. So over on the last block, instead of just powering the note block and the redstone lamp, it also powers a redstone trail, which leads over to the dispenser, which fires a firework, signaling that the player has finished. So if I place that back there, and then we had a block right there, then the note block, redstone lamp, and dispenser all get powered. And yeah, that's basically it. Wait a second. I forgot to place a block back again. Of course I did. Oh. It's always the obvious ones. So yeah, that's Wiggly Worm fixed, even though I really just made improvements, even though it already worked. It's a pretty simple game that anyone can play, but since I like being specific, the rule board for it is this. Pause if you want to read it. Because inside of my minigame land, I make a board to show how to play every game, because you can't just expect everyone to know how to play every game, and you don't really want to have to type in chat every time. Anyways, that's basically it. I also have barrels to contain the concrete powder and a scaffolding on top of it, so you can get on the worm's head then right here, meaning that if you break a wool and then you place the concrete powder and then the wool gets launched up on the top, you can retrieve it. So, yeah. The dispensers are covered in stained glass because it is a transparent block so the fireworks can go through it. That's basically all there is to Wiggly Worm. Consider it fixed and call me a genius. Goodbye.